too small, I got big dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to PunFun, where we have fun with puns. My name is Ryan. Julian is not with us. He'll be back with us in the following episodes to come. We're going to take a look at episode 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you have not yet seen it, huge spoiler alert. We also suggest you check out Captain America and Civil War. There are a lot of callbacks, a lot of Easter eggs. But speaking of Easter eggs, there are some excellent Easter eggs pertaining to the Xmen as we take a trip down to Madripoor. We'll definitely check that out as we go further along. We're also going to check out Zemo being a little political, Captain America 2.0 getting very brutal, but also where in the world is Carly Margento? So the episode starts off with this kooky, crazy GRC type ad, propaganda-ish, where they're saying, hey, yo, we got your back. But they kind of don't, as we've seen when Sam, name drops them. By the way, GRC is the Global Repatriation Council. We get it name dropped in episode 1 and episode 2. It's also the group that Carly is, Robin Hooding, so taking from them and giving it to who they believe is more deserving. But the pretty boy, Captain America 2.0, is actually their mascot. So while you have this weird, who are they really fighting for, you have this, representation by Captain America kind of reassuring people that it's okay. If he can, put his stamp on it, then it must be a good thing. So we do see Cap, or this new Cap, if you will, interrogate using brutal force. He even pulls a Cave Johnson by, do you know who I am? Which basically landed him a spit in the face and no clues whatsoever. They bounce. We definitely see a clear indication that Cap 2.0 is definitely not an improvement on the original Captain America, Steve Rogers in this case, and not the other captains that we've mentioned. He also drops a pun of checking out the person with a better hand, and in this case it's Bucky, which we basically cut to Bucky going to meet Mr. Zemo, which I thought was a great scene, very Prison Break. Anyways, except Zemo didn't have anything tattooed on his back, as far as we know. So we do see Bucky and Zemo meeting again. Zemo tries those code words to activate him, activate the Winter Soldier. He does not go off. Pause. He basically had factory resetted himself, and he's really buried Winter Soldier in the deep snow. So will he ever come back again? I don't think so. I think he's really come along. Anyways, we see Zemo reading Machiavelli's one of Machiavelli's books, where he was a political theorist that kind of believed that glory and survival, you'd have to justify the immoral means to achieve it, and what those were basically. And that's basically what we see throughout. Everybody's kind of like breaking their own moral grounds to achieve what they want, except for Sam. Sam is, he's been following, but he hasn't really broken anything. He's the only clean one so far. Anyways, we'll get into that later on. So Zemo, they pull off this crazy breakout. They meet him at his, lair with these crazy cars, these gangbuster cars. He has his golden gun. The golden gun, I think, is one of his accessories and one of his toy lines, but also it could be a callback to GoldenEye, one of a great, spy game like GoldenEye 64, where the golden gun basically was a one-shot kill, and he has his purple mask. So Zemo is kind of the Bruce Wayne of the villain worlds, with all of these, fancy cars and golden guns. He also has his butler, no, not Alfred, but Oisnet. So Oisnet, played by Nicholas Pryor, also plays in a spy movie called Falcon and the Snowman. So definitely a nod and not a callback, but definitely a great homage to that. Anyways, we get on the plane. We see Zemo with Bucky's book with a list of names, and Bucky, takes it back from him, and we kind of learned that was actually one of Steve's book. We thought it was 2 books, but it's actually Steve's book. Of things that they kind of missed out or had to correct or attend to while they were gone. Ping! Fasten those seatbelts as we land into Madripoor. So Madripoor first appears in New Mutants issue number 32, is actually, called out many times within the X-Men series. Within this episode alone, there are so many, signs that the X-Men are coming. We'll get into those, but first we're going to check out our trio who needs to go undercover. So we have Bucky that needs to revert back to the Winter Soldier. We have Zemo being Zemo, and Zemo hands a new identity to Sam, which is Conroy Mack. So Conroy Mack is an actual character within the Marvel Universe. He's half American, half Cambodian. His dad was taught in the Dragon Breath cult, and his skills and know-how was trickled down onto him. Will Sam, uphold this new identity? I don't think so. I really think it's just for the episode. It might even just be someone Zemo knows. And that's how he has the card, or maybe he saw that he kind of looks like him. Anyways, we're getting into this where they walk in to the lower part of Madripoor, and we see these great neon signs. One of them is for the Monkey Brass Saloon, which their logo alone is a call to definitely hit Monkey. Also, Sam makes a reference to Skull Island earlier on. Who lives on Skull Island? Nobody else but Kong. So maybe it's a little, nod to that. As they pass by, there is also the Princess Bar. So the Princess Bar is known to, for smuggling. But who else goes to the Princess Bar but Patch, who is basically the Wolverine, who, hangs out at this bar time to time. That definitely opens the door for him. And I think, this is definitely a cool step forward and confirming that he's definitely going to be showing up sometime soon. Will he be in this series? I don't think so, but who knows? Definitely props for them for, laying out these really cool Easter eggs. Our trio walks into the club. They're trying to blend in. They go to the bar. As they go to the bartender says, "Yo, hey, it's Smiling Tiger. Would you like your usual?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And he realizes that it's this weird concoction, of snake and whatever other, alcohol that is in there. So Sam is, left with taking this weird shot. He goes ahead and pulls it off. And then just to prove their point and kind of show that, yeah, he's not, Bucky hasn't been cured. He goes ahead and, has a little brawl, which was definitely cool to see the Winter Soldier back in action. And then gets called up to see Shelby. So Shelby is part of an extremist group called the Mutant Liberation Front. Her powers, in the books anyways, is to talk to computers, but also break code. So that's pretty cool when Sam's phone goes off. So again, if you're in the theater or you're watching a cool opera piece, or you're going down on a big deal, you definitely want to turn off your cell phone. And in this case, he puts it on speaker. They get revealed that, he is not who he say he is, but he is Sam. She orders them to get shot. Instead, she gets shot. She dies. And there's actually a bounty that gets put on their heads for the murder of Shelby. Kind of a la John Wick. Anyways, so they start running. They're going through the streets. There are, more signs that we've seen through the X-Men. One of which we see is Kaho. Kaho is a kind of a slang for a woman that's blessed, or that can bring you luck, and who would appear but Agent Carter, Sharon Carter, who protects them, and Zemo even says, "Oh, it's your guardian angel." So that is definitely a cool Easter egg and homage and a callback to Sharon. So we finally got to see where Agent 13 has been since giving up the shield to Cap and also the wings to Sam, basically seeking refuge in Madripoor, which she's done pretty well for herself by selling art to the black market. And these are legit pieces. So we do see a few Van Gogh pieces. We also see the Great Wave of Kanagawa. We also see Sam taking his phone and using, I believe, Google Image to kind of, be a part of the conversation. And he definitely gets called out by Bucky, which I thought was great. So she kind of gives them a debriefing of, what she's been up to. what's her world all about. We also get to see Zemo, bust a few moves. But essentially, I don't think that's the real story. This is just, a front. It could be because Zemo is there with them, or it could also be she's been undercover from the get-go, trying to, find Power Broker and, infiltrate, whatever it is he has going on. Because we do see his name, we do see Power Broker is watching, graffitied here and there and everywhere throughout Madripoor. Right after their little party, they basically go on the search for Wilfred Nagel. So Wilfred Nagel is a scientist that has found a way to reproduce the super soldier serum. He definitely gives a nod to the fact that he's taken this from the blood of a soldier that it has worked. In the comics, Nagel actually is the one that works on Isaiah Bradley, and then, and in this story, I guess it's the same situation, but what he wants is not necessarily make them become these, beefcakes. He rather have them be the way they look, but still have the powers of the super soldier. Kind of like Harley and her gang. You wouldn't know any different that they were they would be influenced by the super soldier serum. So when they walk in, we do see him rather, listening to Coming Home Baby by Mel Torme. This could be for Bucky because, this is where things started, where he got the serum implanted into him. But I think in this case, it's more for Zemo. It's where his story begins, because his hate for the super soldiers is, primarily caused by this man creating, these different super soldiers and ruining and, destroying his world. That is also why he, completes his vendetta by, busting a cap into Wilfred's, head or body or wherever it is it landed. This is important because now the story arc is closed for Zemo, in the sense that he's, dealt with a big fish. Now he wants to deal with Carly, but once that is over, what happens? Does he go back to his villainous ways? He's definitely not going back to prison. Anyways, we shall see what happens in the future. So Zemo definitely shows that he is more than capable of holding his own by blowing up a gas line and showing off some crazy moves, providing, his team a good getaway, or at least an opening for them to get away. He then comes in with this nice car that he finds in a container. Bucky goes in the front and Sam goes in the back seat. This is definitely a callback to Captain America Civil War, where they're in the car and, well, this time it's inverted. You have Sam in the front and Bucky in the back, and he says, "Hey, can you move your chair up?" And he looks at him like, "No." Well, in this case, there's definitely some payback being given. I thought it was a great nod. So now let's talk about Carly. There are a bit of background that was provided. We do see this mother figure that does pass away from TB, or tuberculosis. They did mention that people who did stay in these camps that the GRC created do tend to come down with TB. What's crazy is that these GRC plants that have these resources aren't exactly sharing or providing it to these people or to the right people, and that's the way Carly sees it. And one of the reasons why they actually attack one of their locations, taking some of the supply that they said was good enough for 6 months worth and setting it ablaze, well, not all of it, but some of it ablaze, with people still in there. So as the Flag Smasher was seen as the Red Skull of the modern time, she's definitely showing her face now, showing that if you do not go in the same direction as she is, then you are an obstacle that needs to be eliminated, literally. The people that are advocating for her are seeing this, person that is doing good, but in reality, she's actually causing and straight up murdered people, to get where she wants to go. So we are going to wrap things up real quick by landing in Riga. Riga is where they learn Mama Danya has passed away, and Zemo says, "Hey, you know what? I actually also have a hideout that we can go to." Once they get there, Bucky lets them know that, "Hey, I need to go on a little walk." He actually found one of the Kamoyo beads, so we do see them. King T'Challa with a few Kamoyo beads around his wrist. A lot of the warriors actually in Wakanda owns them. So these have technological and medicinal properties and other properties too. So he follows these breadcrumbs until he finds Ao. So Ao, we see in Captain America Civil War as she's protecting King T'Challa, and actually very confrontational with Natasha. She basically has this exchange with Bucky and letting him know that Zemo must come, must come to justice. So in this case, she may have to kill him or take him back to Wakanda, and we'll see where that goes. But again, this is a definitely cool story arc because Bucky, who was, re-raised or, taken care of by the people of Wakanda, is now betraying them by supporting the man that killed their king, T'Chaka. So there's definitely a weird and, how can you help the man that killed, your king, basically, especially for the people that helped you bring you back, your life, basically. So this is definitely crazy and definitely a twist that we were not expecting to some degree. I kind of figured we would see him more in the Black Panther 2, but I think this is their way of also opening up that window for that movie, basically. So we have 3 more episodes to go through before this series end. We're super excited. I mean, just the fact that they basically, opened up the doors for the X-Men. This fan is definitely excited. We hope you are too. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also hit the notification button. As soon as we drop episode 4, we will let you know. And also, we do have an artist interview coming up. So please stay tuned and definitely tune in for that one. So for now, take care. Peace.